All right, let's talk about one of the most important technologies shaping our world today, machine learning. We're going to break down how we're teaching computers not just to follow orders, but to actually think, adapt, and learn all on their own. So here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll look at why the old way of programming just doesn't cut it anymore. Then we'll get into what machine learning really is and how it actually works. After that, we'll explore the three main types of learning, and finally, we'll see how it's already a huge part of your daily life. Let's get into it.
You know, to really appreciate just how big a deal machine learning is, we have to go back and look at what came before it, a world that ran on really rigid, very specific, hand-coded rules.
And this, right here, is the absolute core of the whole thing. For decades, programming was simple. A person, a developer, sat down and wrote out every single instruction. If this, then that. Machine learning completely flips that around. We don't write the rules anymore. We just provide tons of examples, the raw experience, really. And the computer is smart enough to figure out the patterns for itself.
A classic example of a traditional rule is super straightforward, right? If the temperature goes above 30 degrees, the computer does exactly what it's told. It prints, "It is hot." And you know what? This is perfect for simple, predictable jobs. The logic is crystal clear, and the result is always what you expect.
But what happens when the rules aren't so simple? I mean, how would you even begin to write code to identify a picture of a cat, or translate a sentence from Spanish to English, or predict rush hour traffic? The number of if-then statements you'd need would be, well, it would be infinite. The old rule-based way just completely breaks down.
And that's exactly where the solution comes in. It's this fundamental shift in how we talk to computers. We literally stopped telling them what to do step by step, and instead, we started showing them how to learn from experience. So here's the official definition. The most important part, the phrase you gotta remember, is from data. Data is everything here. For the machine, data is its textbook, its teacher, and its real-world experience all rolled into one powerful package. I love this analogy. Think about it. You don't hand a plant an instruction manual on how to do photosynthesis, right? You just give it the right inputs, sunlight, some water, a good environment, and it just intrinsically figures out how to grow and thrive. Machine learning works on a very, very similar principle.
So you can see the direct comparison here. The inputs are different, of course, sunlight and water versus data, but the core idea is exactly the same, learning from the environment. And for a computer, that environment is just this huge, sprawling landscape of data. Okay, so how does a machine actually go from seeing a bunch of raw data to spotting a pattern? Let's use a classic example that makes it all clear, teaching a computer how to recognize a cat.
Let's just try to do this the old way for a second. Imagine you're writing a program to define what a cat is. What rules would you even start with?
You'd probably start with stuff like, okay, it has 4 legs, or it has pointy ears. But wait a minute, a dog has 4 legs. And what about a Scottish fold cat with its ears folded down, or a cat that's sleeping behind a pillow so you can only see its tail? You see how you immediately run into trouble? Trying to write a rule for every single possibility is it's impossible.
And this is the beautiful, elegant solution that machine learning brings to the table. Instead of trying to define cat with a bunch of flimsy rules, we just show the computer thousands, even millions of examples. Pictures of cats sitting, cats jumping, fluffy cats, skinny cats, and the algorithm just digests it all and starts to build its own super complex internal concept of what catness really is.
And this is the process, what we call the learning loop. So first you feed it the data, all those cat pictures. An algorithm gets to work processing that data, and it creates what we call the model. Think of the model as the machine's brain, its current understanding of the pattern. Then, that model makes a guess, gets feedback on whether it was right or wrong, and, this is the magic part, it uses that feedback to adjust itself. And it just keeps doing this, over and over, iterating and getting smarter with every single pass.
Now, it turns out that there isn't just one way for a machine to learn. Generally speaking, the whole process falls into 3 main categories, or as I like to call them, 3 different flavors.
Okay, let's quickly break these down. First up, you have supervised learning. This is like studying with flashcards that already have the answers on the back. The data is all labeled. This email is spam, this one is not spam. The algorithm just learns to spot the difference. Then there's unsupervised learning. Here, there are no labels, no answers. We just dump a ton of data on the machine and say, find something interesting, like grouping customers with similar shopping habits. And finally, my personal favorite, reinforcement learning. This is learning by doing. An algorithm tries something, gets a reward for a good move or a penalty for a bad one, and learns the best strategy over time. Think of an AI learning to master a video game, or a self-driving car learning to avoid mistakes. Now, I know this can all sound a little bit abstract and futuristic, but here's the thing. You are already using machine learning all day, every single day. Most of the time, you probably don't even realize it's happening.
Seriously, just think about it. When Netflix or YouTube suggests the next thing you should watch, that's a machine learning model that has learned your specific tastes. When Google Maps tells you to take a side street to avoid a traffic jam, it's predicting the future based on past data. That spam filter in your email, the face unlock on your phone, the products Amazon recommends, all of it is powered by these incredibly smart algorithms that are constantly learning from you and millions of other people.
So why is this such a big deal right now? Well, for one, the amount of data in the world is just exploding. And the problems we want to solve now are way too complex to write rules for by hand. Machine learning lets us dig through all that data and find these subtle patterns that a human might never, ever see. It gives computers the ability to adapt.
Look, if you walk away with just one thing today, let it be this. At its heart, machine learning is really simple. It's about giving computers a skill that until now was uniquely human, the ability to learn from experience.
And that just leaves us with this huge, fascinating question for the future. We've unlocked this incredible new power for our machines. So, from discovering new medicines to tackling climate change, the possibilities are just mind-boggling. The only real question left is, where do we point them next?